Hey traders, Raghee here. One of the concepts that I talk about quite a bit in the futures room, and it applies to all my trading, ETF, stock, forex, of course futures and the options, is having a futures first type approach and really getting granular from an index sector stock perspective. Now, what does all that mean? Well, what that means is, and we've talked about this many times here in the free video, and that is start with structure in the broader averages, preferably bullish or what I call double green structure. And then from there, we'll look to see which ETFs have bullish or double green structure. And then we'll go a little bit more granular to the stock level. Well, one of the questions I get a lot is, Rod, what about outside the US? How can I trade what's going on in other countries? We know that it's not just the U.S. central bank that is accommodative. We know it's not just the U.S. central bank that's keeping rates low and supporting equity markets and economies. It's happening across most central banks. So what I do is I like to remind folks that, well, while I like to trade the U.S. markets, there are, using ETFs, as you can see here, 66 funds across 42 countries available to us. Now, not all of them are liquid. Not all of them are optionable. I will typically trade options with these, but you can see we have a great cross-section of markets to consider. So with that being said, let's say I want to take a look at what's going on in Australia. And a lot of times I'll be in a currency futures contract like the 6A, the Australian dollar long, while I am simultaneously looking at the EWA, which is the Australian ETF. So same thing would go for something like the 6N, New Zealand dollar. On the future side, I'm long, but then I also have this ENZL that I can watch too. And again, not all of these are optionable. So what are fairly liquid ETFs for countries? EWU is a very good one. EWU is the UK. And as the news, or at least optimism around vaccine, optimism around Brexit continues, as we've seen the last couple of weeks, not only does it make sense to be long the 6B, the pound sterling, but it also makes sense, along with that, to be long the EWU. So this is the futures first. I've got a narrative that would get me long equities, get me long currencies, and then I could play the UK market through the EWU. Now, this is something that sort of bridges what I do on the future side with what I do over in the sector secrets mastery side. And so if there's a country, for example, if there's a country that you feel you would like exposure to, you know, one market that I've been long for some time, actually in the underlying as well, is EWT. This is Taiwan. Another one is EWY. This is actually South Korea. So there's a lot of narratives out there that you can take advantage of in much the same way that you would take advantage of the NQ, YM, ES, etc. So like I said, this is kind of what kind of bridges what I do on the future side and also what I do in the sector secrets mastery. So if you want to check out what I'm doing there, check out simplertrading.com/sector. It's a great addition to what I'm doing in the futures room. And it allows you to see what I'm doing in these ETFs, currency plus country, and then also the index and sectors and individual stocks and how I play the options on these. All right. So a quick look at, take a look at the markets from a broader futures first perspective, open the market wide up, and you'll see there's a lot going on, not just in the futures contracts in the U.S. and our indices, but indices across the world. So take a look, focus on liquidity. I'll see you in the next update.